The least glamorous file in intelligence, I'm going to say, is cybersecurity. I don't think it gets a lot of love. You can imagine you're at a dinner party and you find out somebody's a spy, or more likely, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who's a spy, and immediately your brain would go to like covert identities and overseas operations and all these clandestine activities involving lipstick cameras and hacksaws and shoelaces. And then they're like, well, what does that spy do? And it's like, well, they sit behind a desk all day and write algorithms. You'd be like, it's, it's not that glamorous. So I don't think cybersecurity gets a lot of love, and I really think it should. The reason is, and this is what I want to talk about today, is cybersecurity actually underpins, I think, like all intelligence activities, right? Because these days, so much of our lives and how we do things is digital, and that's also the primary vector for a lot of malicious activities. So even your traditional counterintelligence, which I just described, intelligence and counterintelligence, this traditional spy versus spy stuff, like what did they have to do, right? When somebody comes to spy these days and they develop a covert identity, well, it's not like, 100 years ago you just get a birth certificate and wow, you're a Canadian citizen. Like, no, you've got to build a digital footprint. You have to build a digital identity. And doing counterterrorism, like terrorists communicate over the internet just like everybody else. And then you have other things like sabotage activities, sabotage of critical infrastructure. That's often a cybersecurity issue. Or influence activities. We see it every single election, the ramp up to try to influence how we're going to vote. And then there's influence activities in terms of the diaspora of a country, right? They try to influence their ex-citizens to continue to work on behalf of the motherland and stuff like that. Those are influence activities. Economic espionage. So any organization that has, really powerful products or really interesting, unique R&D, and if they're going to get hit, I mean, there's like one of the main vectors for that is through cyber intrusion. So cyber I don't think it underpins all espionage. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's still some that doesn't happen via cyber, and there's obviously value for doing other things, but it really underpins a lot these days. And that's why I think it deserves more love. When I used to work for Canada's Foreign Signals Intelligence Agency, I spent a lot of my career in cybersecurity, and it was kind of fascinating yet scary to watch the exponential growth of the malicious activity in this space. I mean, the systems of the government were getting hit, millions and millions of times every single day. And those are all threats. And those are all threats that the Canadian government needs to take seriously and try to address. And that's why a lot of this stuff has to get automated, because the volume of malicious activity on the internet, as we all know, is really, really high. And the other thing that's really challenging about cybersecurity is that, traditional intelligence activities, like they tend to be the purview of one agency, right? Like it is just like MI6 who does foreign intelligence operations, but cybersecurity covers a wide breadth because of how it underpins so much, like I just said. So like in Canada, CSE has a role, CSIS has a role, RCMP, the military is obviously protecting their own systems and doing cyber stuff, but there's organizations that you probably don't think about every day as a Canadian, like Shared Services Canada. And, they have a huge role to play in cybersecurity and protecting Canadian information and systems of importance to the government. So it's just a plug for saying cybersecurity is a difficult file. And it's not one that people think of in intelligence a lot, but it's definitely a huge part of intelligence activities. So if you have any questions about cybersecurity, anything I've just said, or comments, let me know. Otherwise, I hope everyone's doing fantastic.